that in his speech.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of good stuff coming through. I mean, this is a good time. I think we're seeing a little bit more development of stars, only because of the multi-generations. Other than that, outside of that, I think we're kind of bare.
I tell you, that's the truth. Yeah, there's not too many guys coming out of Florida. Ohio Valley Wrestling did a pretty good job churning them out, but not much coming from Florida right now, except, like you say, second, third generation guys.
What do you attribute that to, where we had this surge of the Randy Orton, Batista, and everybody, that came up, and then all of a sudden, like they, went to the well too many times, and there's nothing left there?
Yeah, I don't know a lot about the developmental system in Florida, except for the fact that it doesn't seem to be nearly as effective as the one in Louisville was. I think Louisville was probably, Louisville is not in the best of locations. Nothing against it, but it's not like being right there on a sunny beach in Florida. And, one of the reasons I'm thinking is there's a lot more to do in Tampa, where the guys may not be putting 100% into wrestling. There might be a lot of distractions, diversions, whatever. And it's not attracting maybe the guys who really want it badly. I mean, let's face it, if you get in your car and you drive to Louisville and you look for a very cheap apartment and you sign up for OVW or even if you're recruited to OVW, you probably wanted it really badly. And some of the guys they had there, Danny Davis, Jim Cornette, those guys really knew the business and they really understood the developmental part of it. I don't know if it's the same in Florida right now, but I'm not seeing the results. That's for sure.
Right, and that's unfortunate because it seems that the guys that they do get up, they're throwing them in the spotlight, and 2 weeks later they fizzle out and leaves us with the same old matches over and over again.
Yeah, and that's still it's all about star power. That's still the problem. You got to have the Cenas and the Batistas and guys like that coming up through the ranks, and even these guys are getting a little age on them now. Who is the next big star? I think Ted DiBiase Jr. is really good, and I like Cody Rhodes, but I honestly think after seeing him for the last year, they're probably still a couple of good years away from really drawing money.
Right, I agree. I don't know. I think maybe they've been pulled up, too fast. I mean, they don't look as green as some of the other guys that have come through, but I think a lot of people, they're already putting a lot of expectations on Ted, saying that he was going to dethrone The Undertaker for his streak. So, I mean, there's a lot of pressure there that these guys are going to have to step up above.
Yeah, about 6 months ago, 6 to 9 months ago, there was actually, when Teddy was just coming in, there was talk about, really looks good, could possibly be the guy who ends the streak for the Taker. Probably not this year, but possibly next year. But I don't think so. I don't think so. I'm kind of the mindset that they should really keep that streak intact. There's some records that you really don't want to mess with, and I think I don't see it as a necessity that someone has to end that streak. I think they should let him, Undertaker, when he wants to, when he retires, keep that streak intact. And I just don't think. I know it would probably be a big boost to a young up-and-coming star and would really put him in that next tier. But that's a streak that's so revered. If I were WWE, I think I would leave that streak intact.
Now, watching, I had to rewatch the Taker and HBK match because the first part of the card was so boring to me, that I pretty much missed. I was in a daze, I guess, when I watched it, and I wasn't too impressed with the match. We were on a couple sites and they're discussing it, and I was like, I didn't think it was that good.
Yeah.
I was a little disappointed that HBK couldn't even put on a figure four correctly, and then JR or somebody said that, oh, he's taught that by the Nature Boy Ric Flair. I'm like, I hope not. I really hope not. But so I didn't really care for it. But the thing about it was, at no point in time did I really believe that, you know what, maybe HBK will surprise us and do it. I think that was the kicker for me. I thought the last 90 seconds was really good, but everything before that was,
Yeah, I was pretty sure that, like most people were, that Taker wasn't going to lose that match. But every once in a while, in a really good match like that, you kind of suspend disbelief and think that maybe there's a chance. And I bring that up because two recent matches, over the last 5 years, the couple of Raws at Triple H against Ric Flair, nobody really thought Ric was going to beat Triple H for that title, but when you were in the moment watching that match, you really did think Ric was going to win. They made it so believable that you actually thought, hey, he's actually going to win this match, and that's what two good storytellers can do in the ring. And I kind of got that sensation watching Triple H and Taker and Shawn. There were a few occasions where I said, well, they might they might throw a swerve here and actually let Shawn win, but they didn't, of course. But what a great match.
Yeah. And
what are your thoughts on we had a good build up for this tag team unification match, and then we find out, basically the week of WrestleMania that it's going to be a dark match.
Well, another big disappointment. Very disappointed to not be able to see that on the show. I think that's you get a good indication of how Vince feels about the tag team division.
Right.
He doesn't see that as a major draw. I thought it would have been a great match to have at WrestleMania. Vince doesn't especially care for the cruiserweights, and he doesn't put the tag teams up there either.
And instead we had the Diva Battle Royal, which, okay, it's the eye candy, I get it. But, the Victoria and, those girls that came back, you barely even knew that they were there. I mean, so what was the point?
There was no point. Yeah, I was disappointed at that, too. That's what I said. For the 25th anniversary of WrestleMania, there were a few booking mistakes, and that was one. Not having the tag team match on the show was one. And I'm still confused about Triple H and Randy Orton. I was fairly certain that Orton was going to win. I didn't even wonder about the fact that, should he win? Orton definitely should have won that match at WrestleMania. Send the fans home happy, sad, or whatever. But I think we're going to send a lot of fans home happy by seeing Orton win, mainly because that was the right business decision to make. You've teased for weeks and weeks and weeks that, this was Orton's big match, his make or break shot at the world title. This was going to put him in that, propel him to be the biggest star in the promotion. And it didn't happen. And even the body of the match I was very disappointed with. Here was a angle based on violence and retribution and a family thing. It was all about Stephanie and Stephanie being injured in front of her husband. And they almost go into a collar and elbow tie up to start the match. They should have been out there just wailing, and it should have been blood. And it
Well,
should
let me ask you
PG.
this.
We're PG.
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
but you know
PG
what?
now.
I find that something